It was over 10 years ago when what is now known as the Grattan Cup Series made its debut with its very first race at the Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 500. Running in tandem with the Cup Series ran a couple of other series, one known as the Detroit Series and one known as the Penske Truck Series. The Detroit Series, the Truck Series, both got canned. However, tonight, one of them returns to life 10 years later. The Truck Series returns to action here on the channel with a new title sponsor and 36 drivers ready to hit the track. This is the Fresh from Florida 200, the first of 8 races here in the first ever season of the Budget Truck Series. Hello everyone and welcome to Homestead, Florida, the Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Stuart Grattan. This is the Budget Truck Series, the first ever race, the first of 8 races here this season. It is the Fresh from Florida 200. We got 34 laps of action coming away here tonight, a bit over 50 miles in length, and we've got 36 drivers that are ready to roll off and ready to try and win a championship in what is a very different series to what you would see in the Grattan Cup Series. This series will run between the 6th season, which of course came to an end officially last week with the New Smyrna Showdown, and the upcoming season, the 7th season of the Grattan Cup Series, which will start in August, and that's very, very exciting. And this series will run kind of in between that, maybe a little bit of overlap towards the end there, but for the most part, it will run as its own kind of thing to run in between the 2 seasons of the Grattan Cup Series. And it is very exciting to have the trucks back on the channel because unfortunately it's all been scrubbed from the internet outside of, I think there's an old RLANZ Weebly webpage out there that has all the stats. Isaac Nichols did a great job with that. That was many, many years ago at the end of Season 3. And it shows all the Truck Series races that were run. I think there were only a handful of them. And it was quite an interesting time, fair to say, 2016, and a lot has changed since then. And most of these drivers on the grid, we're nowhere near racing here on the channel. There are 3 drivers that I think that have run in the series. All of them start inside the top 20, actually, and one of them starts in 4th. Dominic Anthony, I'm fairly sure, and Benny Watson, I think those 2 may have participated. I don't know that for certain. Again, all the information I've lost, all the races and the results and everything from the Penske Truck Series. But I would imagine that those 2 drivers, Anthony and Watson, who are still around and racing in the Cup Series today, they're in this race here tonight at Homestead. And I think from memory they were in the main trucks, or the Penske Truck Series rather, all those years ago. Isaac Nichols, I know for a fact, was in the Truck Series back in Penske Truck Series back in 2016. So I think the other 33 drivers, all the other 33 drivers, were definitely not part of racing on the channel at that stage, and it's very, very exciting. We've got a lot of new drivers here on the grid. Some drivers, we've got quite a few of these drivers that are going to, have been in the Cup Series previously. It's a really interesting mix. You've got some drivers that were part of other series in the past, like a Jerry Chen, who starts 3rd here today. He was part of the Samsung Offline Racing League 3 years ago. And then there are drivers like the 34 of Carson Rickey, for example, who has never been in a race, or Carson Miller in the 25, who starts right behind. So there's a very interesting mix of drivers, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Of course, this is an equal rating series, unlike the Cup Series. This all the vehicles are the exact same, have the exact same ratings. We'll see what kind of impact that has on the actual racing itself, because as we know, as we saw in the finale at Homestead in the Cup Series, we saw 3 drivers really pull away and able to battle for the race win. I don't know if they were going to see that tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to see anybody pulling away. There are no pit stops in this race, and that will have a difference. That'll make a difference. There's no doubt about that. And we'll see what happens at the end of the race here tonight. We've got 36 drivers. We're going to run through all of them here on our starting lineup. Let's go all throwback here, I guess. Go all the way through the grid. Because, we haven't had a preseason test, unlike the Cup Series, so this is your first time perhaps finding out who the drivers are. And on the pole, ironically, in the number 1 truck for Tricon is Thomas Troxel. He puts his truck on the pole, and he's joined by Charlie Davenport in the 13 for Thor Sport. So 2 drivers who raced in the Cup Series last year are on the front row of the grid. Jerry Chen, as we mentioned, starts 3rd. Not his first start in the channel, but first start in a few years. He's alongside the most experienced driver on the grid now officially, Dominic Anthony, in the number 45 on row 2. Another experienced driver, Jared Oren, in the number 91 for MHR. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the whole name. Freedom Racing Enterprise number 76 here of Caleb Rose, starting from the 6th position. This is Carson Ricky in the 34, who will be racing their first ever start here on the channel. That's front row Ford alongside the CR7 number 9 of Benny Watson, who's not surprising to say the least, but we'll start from the 8th position. Carson Miller is in the number 25 for Colleague, starting from the 9th position. In the number 25, Duncan Ward in another one of the Tricon Toyotas will start from the top, round out the top 10 rather, in the number 17. Logan Williams in the 56 for Hill Motorsports will start from 11th alongside the 93 of OS Joshi, who's making his debut here tonight, same as Carson Miller in front. But he's making his debut. He'll be in the Cup Series as well. Ryan Durrani in the number 18. I think this is his first start as a driver. He has raced in the SRL as an owner previously. He'll be an owner in the Cup Series later in the year, alongside Andrew Williams in the number 19. He starts, well, those two teammates starting alongside each other, rather. The 44 back in here is Rogal Dawn from 15th, alongside Roberto Crown Jr., 2 second-year drivers coming up. Then you got the 88 Nicholas Samudio. Going to continue to try and pronounce that name correctly. Samudio here in the 88 alongside one of the series veterans, Isaac Nichols, in his number 26. The 62 of Alexander Rowe starts alongside a debutante in Miles Inamatsu in the number 2 for Rayumi. And that rounds, I think that rounds out the top 20. I'm trying to get this up. Yes, it does. Trajan Hawk is in the number 14, another one of the Colic Ram trucks, starting from 21st, alongside Henry Gore in the number 11, and 22nd on the grid. Mateus Bento in number 4, another debutante, like Trajan Hawk. Both those guys will be team owners later in the year. Carson Green in the number 12 will be driving for Mateus Bento later in the year. He's also making his debut here tonight. 22, Ashley Caboose. She's making her debut here in the 22, alongside Tyler Jericho in the number 81. And then behind them, you got the 33 of Max Davis, and another debutante, Kobe Light, in the number 42 for Nice Motorsports. The number 7 of Matthew Hubert in the Kyle Busch truck. Of course, we know about the very sad passing of Kyle, as mentioned and referenced in the New Smyrna Showdown. He's in the number 7 for Spire, alongside Brennan Wilmington in the 38 for Front Row Motorsports, who I think is making his first ever start as a driver. Number 99, Ray Gillespie, who I think is Alex Savitale's development driver, if you want to call it that. He's in the 99, alongside the number 10 of Sarah Taylor. Sarah Taylor making her debut in this series, hoping to find a Cup Series ride sooner rather than later. The 52 of Tim Simmons starts 33rd, alongside one of the veterans, Jake Rogers, back with his number 98. And then the 2 Tricon trucks round out the field, Braden Perez and Leonard Koshma. That's your field of 36. You'll see the starting line left side of your screen with thanks to GRT, and we'll get these cars to fire up, or trucks even fire up right now. That's gonna take a while for me to get used to, unfortunately, as the trucks are all rolling off, which is good to see. 34 laps, as we mentioned off the top. Here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, one of the best tracks in the game, and don't let us down tonight, Homestead. I hope that we're going to have a very fun race, and I imagine we will. I'll be surprised if we don't. There's a lot of unknowns in terms of how these drivers will handle their trucks, and how the racing will be. I mean, you have some level of idea as to how the racing will be, but we're looking forward to how this one will play out. as I said, just over 50 miles in length, and this one will have no pit stops. So we're excited. You see all the trucks, thankfully, are all rolling off, and they're all going to make it to the start, which is good to see. We had a little issue before with one of the trucks, unfortunately had a little engine problem, and so as such we had to restart the race. But anyways, we got all 36 on track now. The pace truck is going to hit pit road. It's Thomas Troxell and Charlie Davenport who are going to lead the field to green. They're waiting for the green flag to drop. And there it is, green flags in the air, and we are racing in the Budget Truck Series here at Homestead-Miami. And here they come to round turn 4 down the front, and it'll be Jerry Chen who leads the first lap of action in the number 16. Here comes Jared Oren sliding way up the racetrack there, and he is going to try and go to the lead, but he's going to lose that position because here comes Carson Riggy in that number 91. What's that number 91? 34. I'm losing my marbles already. As way down low comes the 25 down there, Carson Miller, trying to make it 4 wide. That could have been nasty there, but luckily everybody has got it, kept it together. We got the 15 of Braden Perez, has had some sort of drama, unfortunately, and that's going to cost him quite a bit, so I'm not sure what the issue there is. Jared Oren worked his way through the middle, and he is the leader of the race. Oop, that is not what I wanted to press. There you go. Tyre's gone down. And so, unfortunately for Braden Perez, who won the finale here at Homestead in the Cup Series, not off to a good start here in the Truck Series. Thomas Troxell got shoved way up top, and this is where things can get dicey. See, they're 4 wide. That's Watson in the 9. You got the 77, Roberto Crown, and Max Davis, the 33. They're all 4 wide, and now Troxell way up out of the group. They're almost 5 wide back in there. Oh, and we got someone with an issue blowing up. Not sure who that is. Oh, and there they go, they're wrecking. It's Troxell involved along with the 52 of Simmons, the 14 of Trajan Hawk, and Andrew Williams. And it was Carson Green in the 12 involved in that one. The caution is out. That did not take long at all. Caution on lap 4 of 34. Jerry Chen is the race leader. Braden Perez is back out there. He will be able to continue. Oh, and the 56 of Williams just got punted around. And now Duncan Ward's got an issue. They're all dropping like flies here at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, engine as well. So 2 cars with engine issues. 2 trucks with engine issues. Basically within a lap of each other there. This is crazy stuff. A lot going on. Jerry Chen's the race leader. Looks like Trajan Hawk here in the 14 may well have been the worst one off. A lot of damage to the rear of that truck. And everybody's going to stay out because there are no pit stops in this race. So Jerry Chen in the 16 took the lead away. Let's take a look what happened to Trigger, the yellow. The first one of the season here at Homestead. Well, they made it through a couple of instances of 4 wide, but once they got to 5 wide, it was just a little too much. The 12 here is going to blow the engine right there. That was Carson Green. That had nothing to do with it. It's going to be... It actually makes contact there with Gore and Kobe Light. It's going to be here. The 14 moves up. The 52 also moves up, and Rowe is still alongside. He's not clear. And unfortunately for Trajan Hawk, he's going to clip Simmons and Andrew Williams. And Simmons and Troxell go up hard into the wall. Henry Gore also involved in that. He got a little bit of contact. Not much. But the 52 and the 1 had to come down pit road to repair the damage. The 52 in the wall again, Tim Simmons. And unfortunately, not entirely, not that severe, but also, I mean, if you're the 1, of Troxel, the 52 of Simmons, for example, or Trajan Hawk, severe enough to where it's going to cause you grief probably for the rest of the night. You see Green had damage. You see Duncan Ward's back in there. His engine just expires under the yellow. So a lot happening in a very short span of time here at Homestead. Here it is in real time. Andrew Williams is actually going to shove the 1 up top. There's the 12 with the engine. And then right there, it's just, they just... Look at that. That was a big hit there on Simmons and Troxel. That was a good wallop into the outside wall too for the 52. Got hit a couple times. And actually, I mean, to be honest, Alexander Rowe was... Hawk was not quite clear of the 62, and that was it. And you're going to see the 17 right here of Duncan Ward off to a good start. Clearly, there it goes. So, 2 engine issues within the span of a lap here at Homestead, and a whole heap of trucks torn up. And a lot happening in the early stages of this race. Jerry Chen's the race leader in the 16. Let's take you back to our first restart of the series. Lights are out on the pace truck. Jerry Chen is still the race leader in the number 16. 44 of Rogel Dawn has worked his way up to second, with Ryan Durrani in third, Jared Oren in fourth, and Carson Miller in fifth, with OS Joshy right there, the 93 in sixth, doing a good job. Dominic Anthony in seventh, the 34 of Carson Riggy, and then Logan Williams, who was spun out under that caution, and then the 88 of Nicholas Samudio, who also, well, not also, but he's also inside the top 10 is what I was trying to say there. We still have 34 trucks on the racetrack. Carson Green, unfortunately, his first start has not ended well. He's out of the race with a piston problem, and Duncan Ward is also out with a piston problem. Brian Perez with his tyre issue, he is in 34th, a lap down. Everybody else is on the lead lap. That was a chaotic start, and 5 wide was probably just a little too much. Let's see if a restart will help these guys. We'll see if they get as crazy as they did off what we saw off the start. I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll see. Jerry Chen's the race leader in the number 16. There's the green flag. Back underway. Good jump for the top 2. Really good jump on the secondary part of the restart there for Rogel Dawn as he gets down to the inside, and he's going to take the lead away from Jerry Chen. And he's going to clear down the back. You see the issues there for the 12 and the 17 and the 15 for that matter as well. So Rogel Dawn to the lead. Jerry Chen getting shuffled back on the outside. Here comes Ryan Durrani, Carson Miller, Jared Oren. Actually lost the spot to Miller on the restart and then got it back trying to get it back rather pretty quickly, but not quite going to work for the 91. Here comes the 45 of Anthony down low, with Logan Williams right there as well, closing in on the rear. Well, certainly not 4 or 5 wide like we saw off the start. In fact, really, it's very little 3 wide, if anything, as Durrani here in the 18 closing in on Dawn, but can't quite get there as of right now. Rogel Dawn, he has won on the channel before, but looking for his first win since 2024. It's been a little while between drinks. There's the 2 trucks that were involved. 3 of the trucks. Trajan Hawk actually came down as well. You see they've repaired a bit of damage on the rear of that car. The 52 of Simmons, the 1 of our pole sitter Troxel. It's not been a great night for Tricon, should be said. They've struggled quite a bit. Jerry Chen trying to work his way back forward here in the 16, and he's on the inside of Oren, and he's going to work his way up to the 4th position here. And how about Joshy back in here, the 93 for Costner. He's on the inside, trying to get inside that, close to the top 5. He's not quite there yet. He's in the 6th position. Just working his way forward. Caleb Rose back in there as well. And there's a bit of a gaggle of cars. There's a bit of 3 wide. Ashley Caboose up top. Isaac Nichols down low. Mateus Bento in the middle. Mateus Bento is going to get clear of Caboose. Outside pole sitter there. Charlie Davenport outside the top 10 as well, trying to work his way back forward. Thought for a minute that Durrani had a run on the 44, but not much doing here. And this race will go by somewhat quickly, I think it'd be fair to say. Really on lap 13 now, but if this thing stays green all the way to the end, it will go by pretty quickly. Durrani with a good run through turn 4 down the front. Is he close enough to... Is he willing to make a move to the inside of the 44? Not yet. Dawn's going to hold that top spot for the moment, but this 16 looks pretty quick. Chen working his way back forward, closing in on Carson Miller. A couple of Ram teammates at Corlig, and here we go. 25, 16, Chen on the inside, and Chen's going to work his way past pretty easily in the end and take that third position away. So he lost that lead on the restart, looking to get it back. And he is closing in here on Durrani, looking to the inside of the 18. Not going to make that move yet. And you've got Carson Miller back in there, the 25. He's still in 4th, and thought potentially could have a run down the back. Not quite. Not quite good enough run. Chen got a good enough run though. He's now on the inside of Durrani. Dawn really. That was a poor turn 3 for Rogel Dawn. That's going to cost him a lot of time. You got Durrani, you got Chen, and how about Miller switching down to the bottom of the racetrack. Jared Oren running behind as well, the 91. And it's all going on here up at the front of the field. Lots of moves being made. Look at Oren now. He's going to go 3 wide down to the inside. Although, Chen, can he get clear of the 25? Nope, Oren's going to have to back out of it. It wasn't quite alongside the 25. Now the 2 Rams up at the front of the field. Side by side here for the 3rd position once again. Nobody can get around Rogel Dawn as of right now. I thought Durrani might have had a chance before. Couldn't do anything about it as Chen's going to use the outside to his advantage right there. And he will hold on to the 3rd position. So, I mean, lots of moves being made, but not many positions actually being swapped at the moment. Here comes Caleb Rose trying to get to the inside of Anthony. Back there in what is 6th and 7th. And here comes Miller again with another look to the inside of the 16. And look at the gap these guys have on the rest of the field back in there, as now Oren is going to get to the outside, and he actually might make this one work on the outside. With the 93 of Joshi outside, and here we go for the lead. Durrani down low underneath of Rogel Dawn. They're 3 wide behind Anthony, making a big move to the inside, as here we go. Ryan Durrani is on the way forward. There was a truck on pit road. Someone's out of the race. Not sure who that was. That was the 22 of Caboose, unfortunately. He's had a camshaft. That might be why the pack split up. Dawn led at the line, but here comes Jerry Chen as well. They're still side by side here for the lead. Durrani's it's gonna have to take a bit of work here for Durrani to get around this 44, but with a bit of a push down the back perhaps from Chen, that might go a long way. And now Durrani is able to clear for the lead of the race. So Ryan Durrani out in front for the first time here tonight. But here comes Jerry Chen, who's led a lot of the race so far. You got the 44 still on that outside trying to hold on. You got Carson Miller back in there looking around as well. Here comes Joshi. Dominic Anthony made it 3 wide, but wasn't actually able to do anything with it. Couldn't hang on that inside, and look at that gap. That's a significant gap. And I'd imagine the 22 had a camshaft issue. I'd imagine that'd be the reason why. As Miller tried to go 3 wide, has to back out again. The way inside is just not working for these guys here tonight. So Chen is now up to 2nd. He's got around Rogel Dawn. Dawn looking to get back past the 16 and try and get back up towards the lead of the race that Durrani now has after he took it away from the 44. Here comes Joshi here, the 93. Way down low on the inside of Carson Miller in the battle for the 4th position, and he might well get this one done. He was able to carry a lot of the momentum on the inside, and he will get to 4th. Good move here for the 93. And here comes Dawn once again. Had a look. Couldn't quite get underneath the 16, but you got to keep an eye on the 93. You got to keep an eye here on the 45 because they are 2 of the fast trucks here at the moment. Anthony going for 5th. He's going to get around Miller. Here comes Dawn to the inside of Jerry Chen. He's going to force that opening. Oh, Durrani got a poor turn 3. Lost a lot of momentum. Here comes Dawn. Here comes Joshi. Here comes the 45. They're all closing in as we got a truck that's well off the pace. That's Troxel. That's going to come into play as Durrani shuts the door on Dawn. Here comes the 93 of OS Joshy way down low on the inside. And he's going to try and take second. Jerry Chen got shuffled out. Not a great position for him to be, but here comes Anthony now 3 wide on the inside. Oh, he couldn't quite get underneath of the 93. He's tried that a couple of times. It just hasn't quite worked for him. So Durrani still out in front with now Joshy up to second here. And what a performance he's had in this race, working his way forward as Chen looks to the inside. These guys, of course, are going to be teammates next year at Gifford Technologies Incorporated in the Cup Series. That'll be fun to watch. Especially, you know, what Anthony's capable of. Jerry Chen, also a solid driver. If you see him in other series, you know, he's a quality driver. Here comes the 45 Anthony, closing in on those two guys. So still side by side, battling for position. We've got 10 laps to go. So this race will be over in a hurry. And there's Thomas Troxel, the number 1. And if those guys behind are any chance, they've got to have Troxel really have a say in this one, as Chen with a good surge of momentum gets to the inside here of the 45. Looks like Durrani will get underneath the Troxel. Yes, he will. Gets down there. This is going to hurt Dawn. This is going to hurt those guys on the outside. Here comes the 93. He gets up to second. Here comes Jerry Chen on that inside. Anthony's going to peek down to the inside as well. That's going to hurt the 44 big time. As he's stuck behind Troxel, he just cannot get around it just yet. Now Troxel gets out of the way. Casamella also up there with the 44. And he's going to get to the inside as well. So, not good for all those guys. Troxel and all these guys held up by Troxel. Now Logan Williams held up a little bit. And then Jared Oren will be the last of these guys. And it's a big pack. It's the big drop off back to 14th place, being led at the moment by Tyler Jericho. And look at these gaggle of trucks. You got all these guys, including Watson and Rogers, Kobe Light, got Koshma back in there. Rowe was involved that first year. Andrew Williams has done a pretty good job. He obviously was involved in that incident. He's actually not that far off the pace. Same with the 14 of Trajan Hawk. He's able to hang with the pack. Here comes the 16 of Jerry Chen on the inside for second. He gets around the 93. Here comes Rose on the inside in the Freedom Racing Enterprises 76. Can't get underneath of Anthony right there. Anthony shut the door of them. And behind Durrani, they are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 for the next 8 cars. Might go 3 wide again. Anthony has been nothing short of aggressive here in this run. He's going to get down there. He's going to force it opening, but he just can't carry that momentum way down on that inside. You'll have to back off a little bit and try again. He feels like he's got a pretty good track, but the inside lane not doing him any favours. Chen is going to get clear. He's going to cut down in front of the 93. Here comes Dawn once again on the outside. Now Rose on the inside here of the 45. As Ryan Riggy gets shuffled out there a little bit. All this is happening behind Ryan Durrani, who, since taking the lead, has been very impressive here in this 18, looking to get a victory lane for the first time. And what I believe is his first start as a driver. Look at Dawn here on the outside, trying to get to the outside of the 16. Now Rose is going to go 3 wide with 5 to go. And are we going to get to Tim Simmons? That 52 was also off the pace as well. But look at Rogel. Work that outside lane as now the 93 slips up. Here comes Rose. Trying to get to the 4th positions. Really wants maybe the 44 to get clear, or maybe Chen. Nope, Chen's going to have a run here. Chen got a good run through on that bomb. I was going to say maybe Dawn on that outside could get, if he could get clear, maybe have a shot at the lead. But here comes Jerry Chen in the 16. Has he got enough momentum to get to the inside of Durrani? Can't quite. And then Dawn was in an awkward spot right there. He shuffles up high. It's still Ryan Durrani in this number 18 looking to go to victory lane. He has dominated this race since he's taken the lead. He's led every lap, each of the last, let's say, 12 laps. As Joshy gets shuffled out. Here comes Caleb Rose. Watch the 76 late in the run. He's been slowly crawling his way up. And Dominic Anthony got shuffled way back there in the 45. 3 laps to go. Right now, Durrani still leading this race. But will they catch the 52? I imagine. Let's see. They may not get to him. Here comes Rogel Dawn. He knows the time is now. He's got to make some moves. He's going to win this race. Can't get alongside the 16 as of right now. Rose is going to run the top. I'm trying to find out where to go. Here comes Carson Reed, that 34 on the inside, and he's going to get to the 5th position. Now Dawn to the inside with 2 laps to go underneath the Jerry Chen. Oh, is he going to be able to get down there? He is. He's underneath of the 16. Here comes the 44. He's got a good run. Durrani didn't get a good run. This is going to get interesting down this pack. Still side by side for second. I don't think Dawn's going to be able to get underneath the Durrani, but he might carry that momentum. Nope, Durrani did a good job through turns 3 and 4, although here comes Rogel now with a run on the inside. Here we go. Side by side for the lead as they come to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Durrani's going to get down in front of the 44 as they catch Tim Simmons in the 52. Where will the 52 go? Here comes Dawn down low on the bottom for the lead. Where will Simmons go? Here comes Caleb Rose in the 76 with momentum. Can't quite get to the inside of the 44. Where does Simmons go? Where does Durrani go? Rogel Dawn on the inside. They're going to be side by side out of the corner. Rogel Dawn. Simmons goes high. Dawn with a push from Rose. It's just the 44. Rogel Dawn has just gone past the 18 at the line, and perhaps with a little bit of help from the lap truck of Tim Simmons. Rogel Dawn is the winner of the first race of the season. He wins the Fresh from Florida 200. What a race, what a finish. Dawn gets it done by 0.015 of a second. If you're Ryan Durrani, if I was Ryan Durrani, I would not be particularly thrilled about the 52 then. Rogel Dawn, that was Tim Simmons. He'd be pretty happy with Tim Simmons with that, but if you're Rogel Dawn, Ryan Durrani rather, probably not so much. What a drive from the number 44. Gets it done, gets the race win, and a fantastic start to his season. You're going to see the full results on your screen right now. Wow, what a race it was. Rogel Dawn, the race winner by 0.015 of a second over Ryan Durrani. Caleb Rose ended up in 3rd. Jerry Chen ended up in 4th. All those guys within a 10th at the end of the race. Quite remarkable to say the least. Carson Riggy ended up OS Joshi rather, ahead of Carson Riggy. So Joshi ends up in 5th, Riggy 6th. Ray Gillespie had a pretty good night. He actually slowly but surely creeped his way forward. He ended up in 7th. Dominic Anthony, Carson Miller, Logan Williams rounded out the top 10. Max Davis ended up in 11th ahead of Gerard Oren. Mateus Bento was the last car of that lead group. And then everybody else, of course, I imagine got held up by what happened to Ashley Caboose. So Jericho, Inamatsu, Benny Watson, Kobe Line, Isaac Nichols, Alexander Rowe, Jake Rogers rounded out the top 20. Henrik War and Andrew Williams. Both those guys got involved in that incident at the start and actually did a pretty good job, you'd say, all things considered. Charlie Davenport, Matthew Hubert, Leonard Koshma, Roberto Corran Jr., Brennan Wilmington, Sarah Taylor, Nicholas Samudio, Trajan Hawk obviously was involved in that crash. He had a bit of damage. And then Tim Simmons able to finish on the lead lap, so that's something, I guess, for the 52. I don't know if the others will be particularly. I don't know if Ryan Durrani will be particularly happy with him. He ended up in 31st. Braden Perez obviously had his tyre problem. He ended up in 32nd. Thomas Truxell was involved in the crash, and then Ashley Caboose. All three of these drivers ended up out of the race with, well, not from crash damage, but from mechanical issues. Caboose with the camshaft, and then Ward and Green with piston problems. They ended up finishing 35th and 36th. And here are the championship standings after the first race of the season. Of course, as you'd expect, based on the way the race played out. Here's what you expect. Rogel Dawn, the race winner. It's a 4-point lead over Ryan Durrani, Caleb Rose, Jerry Chen. All right there behind as well with OS Joshi, all within 9 points of top spot. Of course, this series go by very quickly. And you've got to make your good runs. Those opportunities count, I suppose. And of course, 7 races left, so plenty of time for this to change. But you've got to make those opportunities count when you can. There's something interesting. You see the full standings about Rogel Dawn when he won the GRL Championship in 2024. which was the last time he won a race. He won the first race of the season, didn't win another, but he won the championship. So, I don't know, maybe it is the year once again for Rogel, who set himself up very nicely. That last lap pass at the end over Tim Simmons was a part of it, but over Ryan Durrani. Still a good runner for Durrani, you'd say, all things considered. Led the most laps here tonight, but I guess frustrated that he just couldn't quite hold off the 44. He had a pretty good run on the high side despite the 52, I think, all things considered, but well, it is what it is. He's 4 points back, and of course the guys at the bottom got a lot of work to do after what was not a great night at the office. That does it for us here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Congratulations to Rogel Dawn. We'll see everybody next time out at Charlotte for the Alsco 250 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So remaining on the 1.5 mile racetracks. Looking forward to that race. So congratulations to Rogel Dawn, and we'll see everybody next time out at Charlotte.